talk about some effective policies and governance, we have our experts for the next session, Redefining Governance for a Better Tomorrow. I take the pleasure of inviting our esteemed guest, Mr. Sanjay Kundu, former Director General of Police, Himachal Pradesh, Principal Secretary to Honorable Chief Minister, Himachal Pradesh, United Nations Police Commissioner, Chairman Brahmaputra Board, Chairman and Managing Director, NPCC, Director General, National Water Development Agency, and Mission Director, National Water Mission. Please come, sir. Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Lieutenant General Kamaljeet Singh Dhillon, Param Vishisht Seva Medal, Uttam Yudh Seva Medal, Yudh Seva Medal, Vishisht Seva Medal. He was commissioned into 4th Battalion, the Rajputana Rifles, in December 1983. During his service spanning over 4 decades, he has held various appointments in combat zones and senior administrative capacity in the Indian Army. An alumni of National Defense Academy, he has attended prestigious National Defense College courses. Post his superannuation, he has authored first book of his life, a national bestseller already, Kitne Ghazi Aaye, Kitne Ghazi Gaye. He's a motivational speaker and leadership guide at various universities, colleges, schools, and TEDx Josh Talks. Please welcome Lieutenant General Kamaljeet Singh Dhillon. And we are thankful to Tiny Sir for making it possible today in spite of flight cancellations and delays. I now take the privilege of welcoming Mr. Vivek Atray. Mr. Atray, an ex-IAS, is a motivational speaker, author, mentor, advisor, columnist, and visiting professor. He resigned from the Indian Administrative Services, IAS, in 2017. He has 12 TEDx talks and 5 highly popular Josh Talks to his credit. He addresses audiences from industry, academia, government on the nuisance of leadership, good governance, interpersonal relations, emotional intelligence, and many such topics. Please welcome Mr. Vivek Atray.
Thank you, thank you. You look a bit cramped there, sir. You want to come here, one of you, or you okay? Okay, right. So the but my job is to bring you closer and closer as the session goes on. So the only reason why I am wearing a tie today is because I knew that these two gentlemen would be wearing ties. And I was very, very sure, very, very sure. So it's a pleasure to have you here, General Tiny Dhillon. Let's say that in the past 1 year, we've all grown very fond of you, and I especially. So big round of applause for General Dhillon. And we also know the secret about the first time you came here and the fact that we may be reading something about it somewhere in the near future or distant future. So his first event with us was this very event last year at Infosys, and very gracious of him to be here today as well. Very, very towering, inspiring personality, and couldn't be anyone better from the army to talk about redefining governance for a better tomorrow, whatever that means. But we are here. And Mr. Kundu, I'm very fond of for many, many years, know him for many, many years. Also, I must say that we have a very handsome panel on that side. So I also had to, really try to look good. Mr. Kundu is someone who I've looked up to in so many ways. And in fact, his mother has been our teacher and family friend, very close children, the families, we know each other. Was a very outstanding, distinguished Director General of Police of Himachal. And he also made forays into the IS world. But while being in the IPS, he was one of those who intruded into the administrative services realms. I'm sorry to use that word, sir. But you put it very succinctly in the morning when you said that the current Prime Minister encouraged that kind of thing. And it started. So I guess that was a good thing because we got some good people from the police to look after roles which were hitherto assigned to the IAS. But we are talking about redefining governance for a better tomorrow. We're going to make this a little bit of a storytelling session because there's no better way to discuss this topic or any topic than through stories instead of theory and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll share stories and thoughts. So what is your sense? Of course, tomorrow never comes, and a better tomorrow is even less, tangibly aspirational. We can't really think of a better tomorrow because we've been promised better tomorrows after better tomorrows by politicians successively. But we always look back at the good old days, don't we? We look back at the good old days. Except those who are 20-something, they're probably looking forward to the good young days going forward. But somehow that better tomorrow is elusive. So how can we redefine governance for a better tomorrow? What do you understand from this topic, and what are your initial thoughts? With any anecdotes you'd like to, and a wonderful keynote this morning, sir, by the way.
Should I start? So I'll take about 5 minutes and I'll mention 2 points and elaborate a bit. First is, I don't know if you have read this poem, Blind Men of Hindustan. It is about 6 blind men going into a room and trying to see what an elephant looks like. The poem is by one Jeffrey Sachs, and I encourage everyone to read it. So this is about public policy. So all these 6 blind men see different parts of the elephant and describe the elephant differently. But no one knows the complete elephant. That is the problem in governance. People with limited ideas come out with solutions which never work. So I'll give you a practical example. Himachal, when I joined, it was very accident prone. And I thought the day I become Director General, or maybe if I have some position of authority, I'll try to do something about road accidents and the death. The only news that used to come out of Himachal Pradesh was bus falling down and people dying. So when I was in the CM's office, we got with the World Bank and we said we need to do something about it. So we started a program called Road Accident Data Management System, RADMS. And we went into the root cause why accidents happen, why crashes happen. And then we got to know. So the result was that United Nations General Assembly in 2019 resolved that there are too many people dying due to road accidents all over the world. And this is hampering the SDGs. And they said 21 to 30 will be the decade where they would like to reduce deaths due to accident by 50%. I'm talking of hard data. And in India, from 2019 to 24, 5 years, the accidents have increased by 20%. In 2019, 150,000 people died, and 2024, 180,000 people have died. 20% increase in India. And what was the result in Himachal? Reduced by 30%. So against, we actually did a turnaround. Excellent. It was 50% reduced. And a couple of days back, I got a call from the World Bank chief who was looking after roads. He said, sir, there's a global conference of ministers in Marrakesh, Morocco, and this project has been selected to be awarded globally. So I was very happy. I said, will you invite me? He says, no, sir, this is for ministers. You're too low on the ladder.
Only in a better tomorrow that they'll invite you, sir.
Okay. So the first thing that I want to say is elephant in the room. People don't understand. So second thing is being on the right side of the road. This anecdote was narrated to us by Mr. Prem Kumar Dhumal, who was Honorable Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh. So after the district tour, normally the CM has dinner with DC and SSP. And that is where they give the talk. And he narrated this to us. So this is Punjabi. My Punjabi is not all that good. Please bear with me. So when Sardar Pratap Singh Kyra was the Honorable Chief Minister of Combined Punjab, his principal secretary used to be one Mr. I.C. Puri, who was an ICS officer. Mr. Puri had remained DC Kangra earlier. And that time there was no concept of security because India had just become independent, everything was open. And there were only 2 Mercedes, Punjabi call it Mercedes, not Mercedes, no? Mercedes. There was only two Mercedes Gaddiyan In Punjab, one was governor, the other was honorable chief minister. So the CM used to sit behind, and principal secretary to CM used to sit in front. So evening, night, they used to tour. So one night, what happened, when their car was going, a cat came before in front of the car and it died. So Mr. Kyra asked, Puri Saab hai dasso ki billi kyun mari? So Puri Saab was smart, he thought. कहता सर ऐसा है कि मर्सिडीज दी लाइट ना बड़ी पावरफुल हैगी, हाँ, एंड वो मतलब इतनी पावरफुल थी कि उसकी बिल्ली की आंख चुंधिया गई और शी कुड नॉट मेक अ डिसीजन एंड द कार रैन ओवर इट, डाइड. कहता नहीं पुरी साहब वो इसलिए नहीं मरी, वो इसलिए मरी क्योंकि वक्त पे फैसला नहीं कर पाई सड़क के इस तरफ रहना है या उस तरफ रहना है. So because we are dealing with politics and governance, that is where we come. So my advice to every young officer is that normally everything is written in laws, rules, regulations. Please follow that. But should you have the discretion, kindly use it for the government in power. So you cannot fight against the government in power. They will not let you live. So should you have discretion, use it for the government in power. You'll be very happy and you'll have a good career.
Sir, your initial thoughts.
Firstly, we have to define governance. Then only we can think of redefining it. For the people or the gentry sitting in this house, governance means the DC, SP, and alike. But 80% of India, governance means that beat constable, that thane ka munchi, that patwari, that peon sitting at the district administration office who is not letting him go inside. And he can't even reach the DC or SP. So good governance at DC and SP level is all understood and all very well. We need to redefine and re-attire and organize these people who are coming in with public contact every day. And public is fed up with them. They're fed up with these people because they are corrupt, they are unethical, incorrigible. And we need to get these people under the scanner and reshape them. Unfortunately, we send our DCs and SPs and officers only for various causes abroad and within India. No one tells that patwari or that beat constable कि बेटा तूने बात कैसे करनी है. So that is where I think we are an overpopulated country. Our countrymen, at least 80% of them, do not have access to the higher offices. And even if any has an access, he has access through a politician. और politician के लिए भी उसके जो गांव का जो प्रधान है, he will take him to the politician, he will eat half his money, then he will take the politician to Chandigarh or Delhi as the case may be. फिर खुद भी खाना खाएगा, उसको भी खिलाएगा और politician को भी खिलाएगा, इसको इतने पैसे दे दे, उसको उतने पैसे दे दे, शाम को बोलेगा बेटा चल तू मेरे को लगता है काम हो जाएगा. तो for him governance is missing. We need to start bottoms up. That's what is my first.
No, very good thoughts, both of you. The ground realities you brought out already. And that's why this is a very interesting panel, because we are not going to talk theory. We're talking about, but basically governance is misunderstood in my opinion. Governance today is not, it's not rule bound. It shouldn't be that rule bound. It is more facilitatory. The government has to facilitate. It has to allow Infosys to grow. It has to allow Infosians to grow. For example, it has to allow the common man to prosper without coming in his face. So governance is not about intruding. It's about allowing people to do what they're doing. Only when they need you, then you're there and your public service delivery is alacritous enough to deliver quickly. That is what it is about. And the friendly face. Who is the face of the government? General Saab rightly said, the constable on the road is the face of the government. The patwari is not so much the face of the government. He's the faceless person who they meet only when required. So the person on the road, is he smiling? Is he cheerful? Is he a good public dealing person? I personally believe, sir, a better tomorrow has come in some ways because, and this is a salute to all the ladies in the room, when the ladies joined the police force in big numbers. I tell you, the face of the police literally has become better looking, better behaved, genial, genteel. People going to the police stations have more confidence when there are ladies around. So this is something which we need to do. Number one is to involve more ladies in governance. I think even today, if you look at the civil services exam, the ratio of boys and girls is still not on parity. Clearing, even the ones appearing, not enough ladies are appearing. But my next question to you, sir. This era in which we are, 2025 now, we need to talk about tomorrow, then let's talk about 2050 for example. We're talking about 2047 as well. That's okay. Let's generally talk about 2050. Where are we headed? What are the requirements of governance going forward? We've identified the elephant. We've identified that the common person does not get a friendly public dealing environment ecosystem. So what needs to be done going forward? This is the question.
So Vivek, I'll answer this with the two answers. First is, what I want to say is, there should be less government and more governance. We confuse governance with government. As a result, what has happened is, we have created so many institutions without any responsibility, accountability. So what does that mean? You will have to increase the productivity, efficiency, and outcome of all these institutions. General Saab mentioned how important the beat constable is. In Himachal, when I was in the CM office, we started something called 1100 CM helpline, where people could just ring up and complain. So police was not the first department, it was not the worst department, it was number 3. But the thing about police was 16% of the cases or reports were against crude, rude, abusive behavior, human right exploitation, and corruption, and non-registration of FIR. This did not happen with any other department.
Very crude, rude हिमाचल में था ये?
नहीं, ये this.
उन्होंने कभी हरियाणा वालों की पुलिस से बात की है?
No, but this is what. So we realized that this is a problem. It's all data today. So we worked on it. During my 4 years, we worked on it. And we did a lot of training in our police training college. And we got it down to 6%. We could not get it below 6%. From 16, it came down to 6%. And as I said, we were a modern force. My greatest triumph was that once there was a NDPS case in Punjab, Haryana High Court. The DB of Punjab, Haryana High Court said that Punjab, Haryana IOs don't know how to investigate NDPS or drugs cases. They said they should go to Himachal Police Training College to learn. And it was a hit on ego in Punjab and Haryana because they are our ancestral states. It was very difficult for them to digest and come, but this is a court order.
They're going to hide.
They came to us. So I did not get a congratulatory letter or thank you letter from DGP Punjab or Haryana. It was too bad for them. So they did not, but that's a fact. The second thing that I want to point is, for a nation of our size, it's very big. Let us not be confused. The quintessential question in governance is that problems are many and resources are limited. So as a leader, what do? I have got a shelf life, I have got a tenure, I'll retire after some time. I need to prioritize. And people who have been able to prioritize, they have been able to deliver results. So prioritizing is extremely important because you cannot be doing everything. You need to make up 4 or 5 priorities and try to conclude them during your tenure, whether it is an elected government or an official who has a chair. So these are the 2 pens that I would like to add here.
See, we are now a developing nation. The youngsters have access to information. Even in the villages, they have internet and all. And they have access to information. Their aspirations have gone up. Gone are the days when a government official could, walk away by saying, "Main dekh lunga. Aur jaa mere ko aake milna." Today, that man wants delivery at his doorstep. Go seeing it world over. And you talked about, Mr. Atray, you talked about Infosys. Now, you ask a businessman, you ask an industry chair, how difficult it is to start a business. How many permissions you need, how many clearances you need. Now, sitting in Sector 17, you need forest clearance also probably. That is the problem. Government's job is not to put hindrances. Government job is to ease out his work. And in our country, yesterday I was with a very big corporate house, and we were discussing, and a lady asked me a question, "Sir, we are into money making, we are on the capitalistic side and you are a military and all. And how do you look at it? I said, sorry, money making is not a problem. Money making is not a bad thing. Making money is a good thing. That is what government should understand. Making money, you create jobs. You give employment to the youngsters. And we are in that era कि अरे ये पैसे बना रहा तो ये तो गलत काम कर रहा होगा. We need to let the industry bloom. We need to let the young entrepreneurs bloom, MSMEs bloom, and just give them do's and don'ts. Don't ask them to take clearances from you. Now, what clearance that chap is giving you sitting on the chair today, and he knows fully well that after 2 months he's not going to be in this chair and not answerable for the clearance. It's a transferable job. So we need to be very clear. If we want India to grow, our industry has to grow, our youngsters' aspirations have to be met, and the governance has to go to the doorsteps, either online or offline.
Very well said, sir. Excellent. Very nice. Absolutely true. My thought is that technology in government has come to stay. We've taken time to adopt it. I'll just spend 2 minutes on it. So as director of IT in Chandigarh, I was able to inspire even the most die-hard person in the engineering department. There was an officer, I won't name him, in the electricity department, who did not want transparency. He did not want automation. And I'm talking about 2003-04, when they were still doing things on the Bahi Khata kind of handwritten thing, or whatever it was, with the bill spending with an industry were about 1.5 lakhs. And the government did not know, only one person knew, and that person was not paying that 1.5 lakh, and nobody knew that he's not paying 1.5 lakh. So if we brought in a dashboard with all kinds of figures at 11:38 a.m., this much money has accrued to the government and this much should be there, and some people were around at that time. So the thing is that technology has brought in some level of transparency, but we still have some way to go. I think it's a culture change that is also required. The government official has to believe in performance, and government does not benefit, does not give benefit to anyone who's extra meritorious. Rather, he might be in trouble, as we know. Anyone who's meritorious may be in trouble for doing too much. So the thing is that the system has to become leaner, and technology needs to come, and people need to be better trained. That is in a sum and substance. But now we're coming to the story part. So we have former DGP Mr. Sarabjit Singh here of Punjab. We have current ADGP Mr. Rai. We have Mr. Sanjay Kundu. Police ki stories to honi chahiye. So now I also represent Haryana Police because my father was an IPS officer in Haryana, you know it. So, so through one or two anecdotes, please tell us how has the police evolved, or what is it doing, and why is it better than we think from the outside?
I have served in Haryana also. So in Haryana police, as you said, Haryana police is very crude, but they have crude and nice jokes also. So I'd like to tell a couple of them. So this is a folklore in Haryana. So there was one inspector who was Kent inspector. That time Ambala used to be a big town. Gurgaon, Faridabad had not come up. And for some reason, he was transferred to Madhuban. That time it was supposed to be Khudde line. And so Mr. Manmohan Singh used to be the IG. So Mr. Manmohan Singh met this inspector Gosai. He says, Gosai kaisa hai? Kehte, theek hai sir. He had lost his spirit na, because he had come from Kent inspector to Madhuban to train police personnel. कहते घर मिल गया? कहते हाँ सर मिल गया. कहते तनख्वाह मिलती है? कहते हाँ सर अम्बाला से तो पहले ही मिल जाती है. कहता है फिर दुखी क्यों हो? कहता सर वही दुख है जो आईजी को होमगार्ड में लगा दो. The second anecdote is there was one sub-inspector of Haryana police who was belonged to Ambala, but he was working in police training college in Madhuban. And he was in his uniform. He waved his hand because he needed to go to Madhuban. And there was a Sikh truck driver who was coming from Punjab. He stopped. Police ko dekh ke waise he stopped and gave him lift. And this man got on. And then they started chatting. Then the Sikh driver said, "Acha, tusi Haryana police hai?" Kehta haan. Sub inspector ho? Kehte haan ji. Thanedar ho? Thanedar bolte hain na, thanedar ho? Kehte haan. कहते आप कहाँ लगे हो, पंजाबी में बोला कहाँ लगे हो, कहते करनाल में, कहता केड़े थाने च, कहता नहीं मैं मधुबन में हूँ, तो बोला मधुबन में कहाँ क्या, तो ही कुड नॉट fathom की what is Madhuban, it's not थाना, not SP office, what do you do there, कहता है मैं प्रशिक्षण देता हूँ वहाँ ना, I train people. Still the sick driver could not fathom. कहता है दसो जी तुसी जनाब तुसी बंदा फड़ सकते हो, कहते नहीं, कहता तुसी बंदा छड़ सकते हो, कहता नहीं, कहता थल्ले उतरो. So this whole governance, what I understood is about power.
छड़ सकते हो ना पढ़ सकते हो कुछ.
थल्ले उतरो. So basically this whole governance is about power and control. And the other side is governance, you want to ease everything. कहते सानू पूछेगा कौन फिर? So this is the dilemma there. And because of this dilemma, leaving authority, leaving power, leaving control, the day the people who are in power decide to do that, I think technology is there. It will make it happen. But that mindset has changed to a limit, but not so much.
I think this is a wonderful anecdote because it shows the mindset problem. So better governance comes through not systemic changes, but through mindset changes. And the army culture is one way to bring in better governance. The army culture. So sir, from the army.
Now I'll just take a little bit forward this one. You know that governance mein, if he's in a training center and he's given additional responsibility, he'll say, sir, mere paas pehle hi bahut kaam hai. But if he's in field, or if he's in some thana, and if he's given additional responsibility, he'll never say कि बहुत काम है, because that is welcome. Now coming to the army governance and all, see, governance is not only delivering, governance is also making the people feel good about deliverance. Okay, they should feel that yes, something is happening. And I'm reminded, I was a second lieutenant, Sikkim, around 17,000 feet, and I had joined in the month of January, so there was a lot of snow. But still in the battalion headquarters, we used to play basketball after we got properly acclimatized. And the fresh ration, the green vegetables, so taking them to the last post, starting from Siliguri or Gangtok in a 3-ton, then in a 1-ton, then in a jeep, then on a khachar, then man pack. It takes about 5 to 6 days to reach the last man on the post. So we are playing basketball and suddenly the 1-ton comes, and Subedar Brijlal Saab, he was the quartermaster JCO, and some boris are getting unloaded, and CO says, Brijlal Saab, आज क्या है fresh में? Green vegetable में क्या है? करो सब प्रो मत करो, लास्ट जवान लास्ट पोस्ट तक पहुंचेगा. बहुत बढ़िया बात है अभी. ग्रीन वेजिटेबल लास्ट मैन लास्ट पोस्ट तक पहुंचना वाज अ बिग थिंग. सब फिर भी है क्या, सब बस परवाह मत करो, आप गेम खेलो, आखिर तक पहुंचेगा. मैं सीओ गॉट लिटिल चीज्ड ऑफ, इसे ब्रिजल साहब अभी बताओ नहीं तो अभी तो मार्चअप करता हूँ. कह रहा सब टिंडे आए हैं. So this is how you make your people feel good about it. And हमारे जैसे सेकंड लेफ्टिनेंट सोच रहे थे आज कुछ बढ़िया सा बनेगा. बस
On serious note, I like to tell two things. In governance, what we say is policy is implementation and implementation is policy. Your implementation is the policy. So there's no point writing Shakespeare on paper. It has no meaning on the ground. And last thing I would like to say is there's something called sui generis. This is a Latin word that is outside the ordinary. Like Infosys is one. Can you create some islands of excellence? So, as I said, India is a big country. It is very difficult to change end-to-end, top to bottom. But you can certainly have islands of excellence.
Sirs, I've put you on the spot now. You're on the hot seat for the next 5 minutes. Supposing, like a certain gentleman who resembles a cartoon character in some other country, who has come to power and is very, very powerful, and he announces on the first day Shahi Farman type of thing, you know, he's off with his head and off with that and all that. Supposing you were given the power to run this country for one day, and you could take 2 decisions without asking anyone else, what would they be? 2 decisions each.
I would like to.
उनके repeat नहीं कर पाओ.
एक ना गाना है, बातें कम कर काम ज्यादा राका, काम से होगा नाम ज्यादा राका, यही मेरा मंत्र है.
सुना भी गाना सुना
नहीं, basically walk the talk.
walk the talk. So this is only one, sir. What's the second?
Okay.
You know, everything in a society or a community starts from how well educated that society is. And I'm not talking of qualified. You may be BTech, MTech, PhD, but you still may not be educated. So I would like the society to be educated the way a mother wants her child to be brought up. And that is, I don't know how to do it. Maybe we will sit down and think about it if given that one day, jada thoda over time. That is one. Second is, in India especially, our health system is rotting. And connected with that is hygiene and sanitation and civic sense. I think these things we need to teach a child in nursery class. Not to litter things around, not to do this, not to do that. And in our education system, there's hygiene, sanitation, civic sense, and how to maintain good health and surroundings. I think it has to be on day one. So otherwise, even the traffic rules. We have Mr. Rai sitting here. But the truck driver doesn't even know that he is not supposed to be in the leftmost lane. वो अपनी तरफ से बहुत सही चला रहा है, 45 की स्पीड में चल रहा है और ओवरटेकिंग लेन में चल रहा है. So that is the problem.
Good, sir, good. One more for you, sir. One more for you.
What I've experienced is that in India, we try to blame external factors. And what I have found through my experience is the family as a unit is breaking down. My message to everyone will take care of your families. If you have taken care of your family, I think you have produced a good citizen who will ultimately contribute to the nation. But if you have broken family or dysfunctional family, a lot of things within the system are used to address it. It's basically a waste of time, resources, and also loss of good life. The family units that are breaking and dysfunctional families that are happening. For instance, many things, like for instance, drug addiction, for instance, civic sense. It's your family which will get it into you. If the family is broken, people expect it that schools will do it, say universities will do it, some external agency will do it. That is not possible.
That's very good, sir. I am going to add two of my own because it doesn't look fair that I put you on the spot and I don't, because I thought of them just now. And after that, we're going to open it for questions. And after that, we're going to have some very celebrity appearance happening. So brace yourself for that. And luckily, we haven't had to shorten our session, sir. Even the Sarkar has to bend sometimes. But I think 2 points, adding to what Sir says, walk the talk and focus on the family. This is something which the chief executive of a country tells somebody to do, then they bloody well do it. And what General Dhillon said about education and healthcare, this is the core. This is the core of any country. If your education and healthcare is in place, then you're in good fettle. I think I would, if I was the chief executive of a country, I would appear more often on TV to talk about moral values, to talk about, why we should adopt a certain way of living and not another way, like you said, the family system. So I think I should be a kind of moral value educator, motivator, and if people look up to me, which they may or may not, as a politician or whoever I am, I think it's still my business to talk more about that. Nobody talks about values anymore. And secondly, sports. I think Punjab would not have drugs if Punjab had sports. And Punjab doesn't have sports, very minimal. And not only Punjab, the whole of the country needs sports. We don't play enough. Sports is way down on the priority. Children who grow up playing sport, they are balanced human beings. All of us have played some sport in this hall, I guess. Some sport you must have played at some point, but we gave it up. So sports is going to make for a better society, fitter society, mentally, physically, spiritually, and also the sportsman knows how to respect others. The sportsman knows how to lose one day and win the other day and then lose again. So you are more balanced. I think we need to spend more time outdoors. And gym bhi theek hai, but outdoor games, outdoor sports are absolutely phenomenal. हरदीप जी हमको डरा रहे हो या आ रहे हो या क्या कर रहे हो? How much time do we have, Saguna? We take more.
Great.
No. We have about 10 minutes to go, which I want to do Q&A. Is that okay? So with that, first I'll open it for Q&A and then I'll thank sir and sir later. So please, if you have any questions, raise your hand.
Hasn't any one of you touched two aspects which I feel are important, and every other thing gets overridden by them? One is the corruption, second is the population.
He did touch it. He did touch the corruption part. Yeah, he touched the corruption part.
It used both the words.
Corruption, I know. Two things which you would want to do. See, nothing
Corruption and population.
will succeed.
Sir, if we are educated, then the population and corruption will be down.
No, I don't think so. Please have a poll in this hall. Let's have a poll in this hall. Do they want to have more children? Okay. No, sir, but I agree with you that population is something, it came to my mind a little while ago. I didn't say it, but it should be said that population control is definitely required. There's no doubt about it.
I am very
And corruption control definitely required.
clear.
Can I?
Please.
Sorry, Colonel Chima, 1 sec.
Okay. Governance is a very complicated thing.
Oh, sorry.
Everyone has his own prescription or ideas of that. My is, whatever is low hanging, first plug that.
Great.
Please plug that, and what needs time will need time. What is hanging low, please put that in your bag.
This is something that all young officers who go to the field should learn, that prioritize, do 2 things which make a difference, and don't touch everything, 25 things which you can't handle. So go one by one and take. Colonel Chima, quickly, yeah, sure.
See, I have worried about professional dishonesty in government departments. Why don't they do whatever they are expected to do to the best of their ability? Now it has become a fashion to be doing only half-hearted stuff, and nobody actually, this is the heel of India by being professionally dishonest. What can be done about it? Those values and all Mr. Baker they talk about, that's a great thing. Education is the other thing. But you have to create a culture where people come karna swad aa gaya. पुराने जमाने में I used to hear from our civilian workforce कि आज सर काम करना स्वाद आ गया. आजकल काम करना किसी को स्वाद ही नहीं होगा.
May I answer this one? So this is a very good point. Actually, I was going to sum it up by saying that redefining governance also means a more cheerful frame of governance, positive, empathetic. So I think that attitudinal change which you're talking about is absolutely essential. When we recruit people, we don't train them for this at all. And we do to some extent, but that too at the higher echelons. So the person that General Dhillon is talking about, uski training utni nahi hai, wo soft skill nahi hai. Achha, let me also say that the corrupt person on the road, we also need to look at his living conditions, his working timings, his salaries, the background he's come from, and the person who's trying to corrupt him. We have a complex situation. So I think both this professional efficacy and positivity along with the corruption-free angle is linked. It is linked. We have a quick question there and then one over here.
Answer this.
Yes, sir.
ये बड़ा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड सा क्वेश्चन है. इसका जो सीधा सवाल मैं ये देखता हूँ, आप एयरलाइन में ट्रैवल करते हैं तो आपको एयर होस्टेस बोलती है कि अगर कैबिन में हवा का दबाव कम हो जाए तो सबसे पहले अपने मुंह को डालो, फिर दूसरे को डालो. आई थिंक इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि ये मास्क हम अपने मुंह को पहले डालें, फिर बाद में देखें. अगर आप हर कोई अपना अपना मास्क डालेगा, मेरे को लगता है द सोसाइटी विल बिकम अ बेटर.
Right, sir. We need one final word from you, sir. One-liner. One-liner.
One-liner is do what you're supposed to do. The chair.
General Dhillon never fails to, never disappoints actually. And lastly, I apologize to all those who wanted to speak or ask more questions, but we have Sarka Taj coming in, and that is Sataj coming in, I think, Satinder Sataj. I think the better tomorrow refers to the fact that today is good. The word better means that today is good. So it's not that bad. And that's what that was what said. And I think 2 words can change governance, 2 attitudes: cheerfulness and empathy. cheerfulness and empathy, cheerful governance, empathetic tomorrow. Thank you very much.